Everyone please be seated. Oh, here we go. This is the time of the night where we get to have a little bit of fun on our part. All year we're busting and hollering at kids and pushing them and grabbing them by the ears, get to class, do that kind of thing. Well, this is the night where we show how much we love and appreciate it. So I believe Coach Hopper would like to take this first.
Oh, sure. I thought we were going to
Go ahead.
Well, I actually got written down here. I got to look over real quick. You laid it on pretty quick.
I always like to get a little spot.
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to thank all the parents for letting their kids play football this year.
Not as well.
I think this year, for all the kids that played on our team, they're going to use this as a stepping stone for their football careers throughout Tennessee or whatever high school they go to. For all you 8th graders, going into your junior varsity year as football players, you're going to be a lot more knowledgeable than most of the players that have played junior high football at this school. Coach Hardy and I, not to toot our own horns or anything, but I think that we've taught you guys more, if not just as much as any other coach that's coached junior high. For all you 7th graders, you guys are going to have to hold the rope for all of these elementary kids that are coming up to be 7th graders on your junior high football team next year. And I know you can do it just for the fact of how much effort that you put forth this year in football, in your schoolwork, and at home. You guys did a great job, and I couldn't ask for a better team. Just like to thank all the parents, thanks Coach Hardy, thank Tennessee, thank all you players.
So I always like to let them go first because I'm the one who don't know when to stop. So when y'all guys see the clock is rolling, just tell me to shut up, okay? I will not be offended. I personally want to thank everybody for being here tonight. One of the things I loved about Tennessee coming out here was that I did get a family type of vibe out here. Right from day one, you had your people that all on the sideline said, oh, you're not going to be able to do this, you can't do that. You're going to have a problem with this, so you're going to have a problem with that. And then I met these young men. I met some of you parents individually, and all that talk and the rumors I heard prior to that just went in this year and right after us. In as much as they said that I have a problem with eligibility. In as much as they said we couldn't win. In as much as they said I wouldn't keep 11 guys on a football team. My heart goes out to every one of you, and I want to thank you for allowing me to be out here this year. I have had a wonderful time. I've enjoyed working with your young men this year. They are one of the best group of gentlemen I've ever worked with in my life, and I don't just throw that out easily. I've seen more heart, more hard work from these 22 young men than I have from many of the larger teams I've ever coached. It has been my extreme pleasure to be out here. We have done a great many of good things. And when I say we, naturally Coach Hopper and I are going to take kind of some of this credit, but we couldn't have done it without you guys, without your young men, without those gentlemen sitting beside you right here and now out here. They worked their butts off. They learned to respect each other. We think they learned to respect themselves. They came together as a team quicker than any team we've been with. And it wasn't because of their number. It was because of their heart and their effort. People told me, oh, you're going to struggle. You're going to have a hard time out there teaching these kids how to win.
I can.
We did. Most of those detractors are saying things of that nature because of the numbers you have out here. Now, every coach thinks that the ideal situation is to have at least 40 guys on the football squad. That always is not the case. I would not trade any one of you young men for any number of 40 anywhere else. You had to play two ways. These young men had to play both offense and defense. Every one of these young men had to play more than one position. Every one of these boys, these young men, I should say, worked their tails off on the field. As in evident as to every football game they played in. I can honestly stand here and tell you that these young men never ever quit on me, not once. Proof in the pudding. When we had that scheduling snafu, I should say. The way this team came together, the heart and the soul that they showed, and the respect that they had for each other, held true at our very last football game. They went out there, they worked their butts off all week in practice, knowing that the quote-unquote head coach wasn't around. They listened to everything Coach Hopper had to tell them. They didn't say, hey, I'm going to take the week off because Coach Hardy ain't here, he's the head coach. We're not going to show Coach Hopper respect. They did just the opposite. They manned up, they held the rope, as we say out here in Tennessee, and they played their hearts out. That's the final game. That made me more proud of anything that's ever happened almost to this entire school year. Because I saw them coming through and working hard and doing the things they were supposed to do, even when circumstances were such that I wasn't around. And you don't know how much that touched my heart, how proud that made me feel. Because that's how I've come to know you young men. You are all part of my family now. You young men have got the basics. You've learned what your teachers expect of you in junior high school now. You know how difficult academics are and the requirements and what they want out of you. And they stepped up in that way too, parents. People told me they wouldn't now here. They said them knuckleheads are so athletic minded they don't care about grades. Well, I beg to differ. 10 of your young men here out of 21 was on the honor roll first market.